He is known as Chem Teacher Phil on TikTok, and he's with us today to promote STEM learning and the Million Degrees of Good Challenge. We welcome Phil Cook to Lifestyles. Good morning, Phil.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm glad to talk to you about STEM. We hear so much about STEM learning. For the folks in our audience who don't know what that stands for, can you kind of walk us through?
Yeah, so STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And the reason why you probably hear about it so much is because if you look at job growth, like where our young kids who might be very young now going to grammar school, they're going to grow up eventually, and they're probably going to go into a STEM-related field. So it's really, really important for us to get them engaged in activities early on when they're most curious that enhance their problem-solving and critical thinking skills. And STEM is all about critical thinking and problem-solving.
Well, I see you're surrounded by some very colorful objects. What sorts of learning tools are they?
Well, there's one learning tool in particular I like to focus on. These are Pilot friction pens. They're great, normal, everyday use pens, but they have a hidden, nerdy science interior because they use thermosensitive ink. All that means is they're erasable. So every single one of these colors that you see here, completely erasable, and they erase using heat. So that's thermosensitive ink that they use to make them erasable. And what that means as a chemistry teacher, you can do not only have them take notes and write a book report, you can also have them do all kinds of really cool science experiments looking at how heat moves between objects, or if something gets really, really hot, because the ink will change and disappear if it gets beyond 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
Well, that's so exciting. So that sort of leads us into then the Million Degrees of Good Challenge. Explain that to us, Phil.
Yeah, so the Friction for Good Challenge is all about keeping STEM accessible, meaning we want to make sure that there are activities that anybody can use free of charge. We want to give as much access to people to have STEM experiences, especially early on when they're most curious. So to that end, there's a couple of ways that people can participate in the Friction for Good Challenge. The first is by buying 10 and 16 packs of friction color sticks. Color sticks look like the one I'm holding in my hand here. You can get them from Target and Walmart and Amazon. And 25% of the profits from each of those sales between now and November 8th are going to be donated by Pilot to Girls Who Code. That's the first way that you can have an impact in STEM education. The second way is by creating some content using Pilot friction pens and posting it on Instagram or TikTok and adding the hashtag Friction for Good. That's Frixion for good. Add that hashtag onto any Instagram post or in-feed post or TikTok between now and November 8th, and Pilot will donate $5 for each post that has that hashtag, up to $60,000 to Girls Who Code. Two easy ways to actually have a pretty big impact on STEM access to educational materials in your neighborhood.
That's great news for students. Now, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you become such a star of TikTok?
It was purely coincidental, purely coincidental. I had no idea what TikTok was until just a few years ago. I had a student in class, I was doing a demonstration, and she said, "You should put this on TikTok." I didn't even have an account, so I created an account, handed her my phone, she filmed me doing a demonstration, and we uploaded it, and I didn't think a thing about it. Next week, kids were coming into the classroom, just jumping up and down saying, "Have you seen the video? Have you seen the video?" And I just saw that it blew up. And from there, I knew this is a great avenue for science education. I know that's not what you might normally think about with TikTok, but it's been very effective for me as a way to get people excited about science, especially if they didn't have great science experiences when they were younger,
right,
and also help them to be more curious about the world around them.
Well, Phil, how can they follow you on TikTok?
Just look for Chem Teacher Phil. You could probably even just search Chemistry Teacher and you'd find me pretty quickly.
It's a joy to meet you, Phil. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thanks, and don't forget to have everybody check out frictionstem.com. Find the resources there as well as the Friction for Good Challenge details.
Thank you again.
Thanks.
We'll be back with more local lifestyles right after this. Stay with us.